I can't wait to tell you about it, but I'm going to wait a minute because I want to make sure that a few more people get on before I shout out the big news. Here's the challenge for most women leaders. We want to grow, we want to develop, we want to advance our careers, and there's a lot of roadblocks in the way. And some of those are our own internal roadblocks, and some of those are external roadblocks. But if you want to grow and develop and move yourself, you're going to have to move some of those roadblocks out of the way. And my big news today is going to help you with that. So hold on a minute, stay tuned. I'm going to share this into my Confident Women Leaders group because I want to make sure that they hear the news. I see somebody's on already. Share to a group. Say hello if you're on. Posted. Say hello if you're on watching today. So here's the challenge. Women want to grow. They want to develop. They want to advance their careers. And yet there's all of these roadblocks that we either put up ourselves, most of them subconsciously, many of them consciously. And there's all of these roadblocks out there that the world, our sector, our boss, our job, workplace put up that don't allow us to advance our careers. But there are some things that I want you to know about women leaders. One, the research has proven that women are more effective leaders, not better leaders, not the, oh my God, we should, push men out of the picture. But I want you to know that we have some skills and some abilities that actually can put us ahead of some of our male counterparts. That doesn't mean we need to push them out of the way, but it does mean that we need to step up to the plate. One of the things that women are better at is creating engagement with their employees, creating relationships. Hey, Maria, good to see you on today. When we create those relationships with people, it creates a sense of connection with people, engagement. And what happens when employees are engaged is they do better work. So by us being more engaged with our employees do better work and our organizations grow and develop. So in that way, women are better at leading. We have to look at some of that. We have some of those softer skills that men need to learn. For some of us, those are innate. And so while men can learn, to have more empathy and to display more compassion, we have that within us. We have, a stronger connection to our intuition. Let me try that again. Women have a stronger connection to their intuition. And when we access that, we're better able to make decisions. We're better able to lead. So first thing is women can be and are in many ways better leaders than men. The second thing that I want to talk about is, for most of you that follow me, you are women in nonprofit organizations. You are in a charity organization, a nonprofit organization, a small business. And here's the thing. There is a succession planning crisis in nonprofits in Canada. What that means is we don't have people who are stepping up to the plate to lead our organizations. We haven't sat down and sorted out who's going to move up and who's going to, take over leadership. Part of that is we lack the time to do that. We lack the skills to do that. But one of the challenges is, as women, we're afraid to step up to the plate. If you look at the numbers in a nonprofit organization, there are considerably more employees that are female, but considerably less female women that lead those organizations. We move up the ranks and then we stop or we stall or we halt. And again, some of that is the organization, the sector, the world. Some of it is us halting ourselves. So women are better leaders than men in many ways. The nonprofit world has a succession planning crisis. We need more leaders, and women aren't stepping up to the plate is the third thing I want to talk about. So why aren't we stepping up to the plate? Why aren't we sticking our hands up and say, I'll lead, I'm ready, take me, pick me, show me the way? There's a lot of reasons. One is we don't feel we are capable. We don't feel we're ready. We're lacking confidence. We're struggling with imposter syndrome. We don't think we have what it takes to lead. And if somebody tries to slide us up there, we're holding ourselves back. So that's one of the challenges we have. The second one is a realistic one for women. We are worried about that whole work-life balance component, and it's a real struggle. Women just I mean, you can look at the research if you want, but women do more work at home than men generally. Not all. Don't beat me up if your family situation is different, but in general, women hold more responsibilities at home. So if you're going to step into a leadership role and step up to the plate, you're going to have to balance that. And as women, we're like, I'm not so sure I want that. I'm not so sure I have the capacity to do that. So that's the next part of it. And then that final piece is the reality that, especially in nonprofits in Canada, we have moved up the ranks from frontline into leadership without the skills and training to move us up there. So we go from frontline, maybe you're a social worker, maybe you're a childcare worker, maybe you're a rehab worker, maybe you've just got into the field and you move up and suddenly you're a supervisor or a shift supervisor and then maybe a coordinator, and all of a sudden you're a manager, and then you're the ED, and you're like, I haven't had the training all along the way to get me to where I am today. So all three of those things combined, that piece where we are more effective leaders, that piece where we need more leaders in the nonprofit world, and then this halting piece in us that's stopping us, is where I want to announce my big news. How do we get over that hump? How do we move past that? Because I think part of the challenge for us as women is we have this shame associated with all of that last part that I talked about imposter syndrome, about even admitting that we want to have work-life balance, that we are lacking the skills. We don't want to admit that we don't know. And so there's a lot of shame attached to that. And so if we're going to grow and develop ourselves both personally and professionally, we have to step up to the plate and get training. And yet if we're ashamed, here's what we do. We wait. We hold ourselves back and we wait for somebody to give us that little nudge that says, hey, I think you should go take this management training, or maybe you should go take this course, or I think you should try to apply in this position. We wait for somebody to give us that push or that permission or that approval. Or we'll do that kind of passive aggressive stuff. You know, I really like to take this course. This course would be kind of cool to take, but we don't actually apply on it. We don't actually fill out the form and say to our organization, I want to take this training, because we're lacking the confidence. So we're waiting for somebody to give us that nudge. We're waiting for somebody to approve the funding. You know, it's going to cost $500 or $1,000 or $5,000 to go take this training. We don't have that kind of funding. We don't have access to approve that kind of funding in our organizations in many cases, or we do, but there's somebody looking over our shoulder. So we're hesitant to move forward on that. So we're waiting for somebody to give us that nudge. We're waiting for somebody to give us that approval funding wise. And then we're often waiting for the right time. I don't have time to go back to school. I don't have time to take that course. I don't have time to do all of this stuff. So we're stuck in this conundrum where we're wanting to grow and develop personally and professionally. We're wanting to change. Give me the thumbs up if this is you. If you're wanting all of this and you're like, but it's not accessible to me. I don't have access to training. I don't have the funds for training. I don't have the time to take training, and nobody's supporting me to do this training. If that's where you're at, then this announcement that I'm going to make in a second is really important for you. Because what I want for you is I want you to take this next step without waiting for somebody else, without having to have somebody else give you permission or give you funding or give you approval. I want you to start to take these steps that are both internal and external. Remember, I said at the beginning, some of this stuff is we're holding ourselves back, and some of it's the world, the sector, the workplace is holding us back. I don't want anything to hold you back anymore. I want you to be able to grow both personally and professionally without any of those roadblocks. So what's the solution? Are you ready for my big announcement? Give me a thumbs up if you're ready for the big announcement. If you want to know what Kathy's up to, well, let me tell you, this has been something that I've been dreaming about for a long time, but never really thought it was the right time, right? That's what we all do. We're like, it's not the right time. It's not the right time. And we hold ourselves back. So I've been dreaming about this for a while. And then once I decided it was the right time, I've been building it in the background for a little while as well. But here's what I want for you. I want you to have training. I want you to have training when you want to access it. I want you to have affordable training. And I don't want you to have to ask anybody for permission to do it or try and fit it into your already busy schedule. I want you to get it when you want it, how you want it, and be able to do it without anybody else even knowing. Just start to grow and develop yourself. So here's the big announcement. What I've done is I've created a membership site, which is called the Training Room Library, the Training Library, Kathy Archer's Training Library. What there is a library of courses and tools and resources for you, and that you get access to this library. You pay a monthly rate, cheap, affordable, $20 a month, $19.97 a month, and you get access to every single month a webinar. So some of these webinars that I've been doing that you've had to purchase on a month-to-month basis, those are all included in the training library as part of your monthly fee. There are courses. There's one in there, two in there now, and there's going to be ongoing courses developed. So the first one is the one that I think is the foundational course for any of this work, and it's called Values Verification. So values verification is where we need to start. If we're looking at some of the stuff that you've been struggling with as a leader, leading with integrity, feeling confident, learning to balance your emotions, figuring out how to apply some of that conflict resolution stuff, creating a vision, a mission, something for your organization. You have to know what your values are, but not just like 3 words on a piece of paper. You have to understand those values. So values verification is a quick course. So that's what all of these courses are going to be. I'm hoping they're going to be like under 5 hours. This one, the women that have tried out values verification, 2 to 3 hours, they've completed it in. But oh my God, they're telling me that this is like life-changing for them because they've never sat down and understood what their values actually mean and how those values show up in the workplace and how they can use those values. So that's in the course. You get that, or in the library, you get that as soon as you join the membership site. So again, it's $19.97 a month. You get courses. There'll be ongoing courses in the training library, show up probably every 2 to 3 months as I build them and develop them. You will get monthly webinars or training. There'll either be a webinar, like a training that's like 90 minutes, or there'll be an interview. I'll bring other people into the library so that you can access other experts and other bits and pieces of information. So I'll bring those people in. There will also be pop-up things like book clubs, because I know many of us are book fans, and maybe we could read along together for a month or two. The other thing that's going to happen in the training library is it's going to become a network of women, because you should not have to do this alone, my dear. There is no way that you should feel as isolated and as lonely as you do. Will you be on LinkedIn? The training library is going to be sort of a separate site. It's actually called Teachable. So it's a site that actually does courses. So if you've taken courses before online and you know that on the left-hand side, they do lesson 1, lesson 2, and then there's a video and a worksheet, that's what this is. And you have access to all of these courses. So this is going to be on a separate site. On LinkedIn, I might share some stuff for sure. On Facebook, I'll be sharing stuff. On Twitter, I'll be sharing stuff. But all of this stuff will happen behind sort of this I don't want to say closed door, but it's in this room, and you have to pay the monthly fee to get into this room. $19.97 a month, you get into this room, you get access to all of this stuff going on. And so the other thing, like I say, is it's a room where there's a bunch of us women leaders in there together. So I'm going to bring you in. I want to know your stories. I want to share your information, your successes. So I'll be interviewing women in there for you as well. So for example, we have one of you that's already said, yes, I'm interested in teaching you guys how to do vision boards. Because I think as we start in January, many of you are like, okay, fresh start, give me a new vision, set some goals. Let's start January off with creating some vision boards. That's not one of my areas of expertise, but it is one of yours. And so one of the members is going to come in and teach you guys how to do vision boards. So if you have an area of expertise, let me know. You know, maybe there's somebody who knows something around, oh my goodness, I can't even remember the name. One of those new hot pots out there, those new slow cooker things. Maybe you know how to create weekly meals so that life is easier when you are at work. That's a skill that some of us need. I don't have all of the expertise. You guys have a wealth of information. So that's the other really cool part of the training room. You're going to get me building courses and giving you those courses that are affordable, easily accessible and short and sweet and quick, but practical, doable. When I look at some of the stuff that I've done and the women have commented, some of the testimonies, and you can see these if you pop on, I'll give you all the links in a second here, but if you pop on, you can read some of the testimonies. And that's what people are saying. This stuff is practical. I can go take this course on a Thursday afternoon for 2 hours, log in and do it. And I can, apply it Friday morning in a meeting that I'm having. Or I can sit down on a Saturday afternoon or Sunday morning and go through these few lessons, learn something, and use it when I go to do my performance appraisals next week. Or I can use it to help me find that sense of work-life balance. Because again, here's the thing. Women are better leaders than men, but we are afraid to step up to the plate. And yet, if we can own our skills and own what we do and own those strengths and gifts and talents, we can stand beside men in our organizations, in the world, and say, hey, you know what? Where's my place in leadership and how can I show up? And here's the key thing that I think is extremely important to all of us, and balance that with life. We don't want to step up into leadership and have it all consuming and suck us away and lose that sense of life that we so much value. We want to learn how to balance that. There is a both and that we can do. We can lead both in our worlds, in our families, in our communities, and we can lead in leadership in our organizations, and we can balance that. And that's what I want to give you, is a reasonable bits and pieces of training and information that you can apply on an ongoing basis. This is not, let's take a year out of your life and go back to school and then dive back into the workplace, because that's not how it really works. This is an ongoing growth, development, personal journey for the rest of your life. And so for the rest of your life, you're going to continue to be adding and growing and developing. Here's the fun thing about this. You might take the values verification course today, and you might learn some stuff, and you might start applying it in your life. So you might sit down this Saturday, do the course real quick, get some information, start applying it. Next month, if you go in, you'll see that there are 3 webinars that are in there already. One of the webinars is around emotional intelligence. So maybe you're going to go, as you start going through that webinar, you're going to go, oh boy, I need to go back to that values verification course and go through that one exercise that I remember, because it's something that applies. And you're going to go back and pull that exercise out, or maybe you're going to redo the whole values verification course. And then 2 months down the road, when I give you the willpower course, which is going to come someday soon, and you're starting to figure out, how do I apply willpower to time management? How do I learn how to be self-disciplined, how to set some boundaries, and be a more effective leader because I'm getting the important stuff done? Oh yeah, that one comes back to values. I need to go back and redo that values course, or pull out that values course that I did and remind myself of what my values are. These are all linked. And that's what's really important. As you start to grow and develop yourself, what I want you to do is create your own curriculum. We aren't out there looking at, this is the set curriculum that is the answer for every woman leader. It's what's your curriculum. What do you need today? What do you need tomorrow? How are you choosing to grow and develop yourself? And you'll get to hand pick which pieces you need to work on now, which pieces you need to work on next week, which pieces you need to review again and again. And that's the beauty of this. The other thing is, you then get to tell me what else you need. I mean, I'm going to be all ears listening to you going, what else do you want? What's the next step for you? When you took this course, what piece was still missing? Or you've linked the willpower stuff with the emotional intelligence. Here's another one that'll come in eventually, is emotional literacy. So we know the basic emotions: happy, sad, mad, glad, right? That's it. And we tend to sort of push everything into those things. One phrase that I hear from women almost daily, I think, is, oh my God, it's one of those days. What does one of those days mean? I mean, you know what it means in your world, but maybe today it's that you're overwhelmed with all of the workload. Maybe next week it's that it's one of those days, meaning you had a really difficult conversation with somebody. But if you can't sort of pinpoint what's going on, and then the emotions that are going on inside of you, it's hard to deal with. So we need to start figuring out emotions and how they layer over top. One of the top emotions that we often talk about is anger. But underneath that anger is shame and disappointment and embarrassment. And when you can pick out that you are ashamed or you're embarrassed, it's much easier to go, oh, I get why I'm feeling angry, and now subsequently how I can deal with that more effectively. If it's just that overarching anger, it's really hard to deal with. So that's what we're going to start doing. Ask me any questions. I'm here for you. I know some of you guys are listening in and tuning in. Ask me questions. So let me summarize. $19.97 a month gets you into the training room. This is a separate website that is full of courses and ongoing webinars that when I do a monthly webinar, if you're not in the training room, you can still buy it and access it. You can access each of these courses individually if you want to pay for them individually. So if you do one of these courses and you think, oh my God, so-and-so at the office needs that course, they can go take that one course without being part of the training site, the library. That's fine. So it's making it accessible to those who want just ongoing training for $19.97 a month, or those who just want to pick and choose what they want when they want. So it's a both and. But in this separate site, it's these monthly trainings, these book clubs, these interviews with you, the experts coming in teaching you stuff, and then it's these ongoing courses that you get to handpick and put together to create your curriculum so that you can develop yourself both personally and professionally. Because remember, there's this piece in us that wants to both balance work and life. And that's one of the challenges that we've often looked at when we're looking at training for leaders, is we're teaching you leadership skills. But leadership and life is not separate. They are one and the same. And as we're growing and developing, we have to look at, how do I do both? So I was talking about willpower. That willpower to set boundaries and to only check your email a couple times a day is the same willpower that keeps you out of the chocolate in the cupboard. So if we're talking about willpower, it's about helping you understand how to resist some of those urges, how to maintain your focus where you want to focus. But it's going to help you in both areas of your life. And it's going to help you figure out how to apply so many things. So if you're sitting down and you're working on a performance appraisal and you're like, oh, this is just frustrating me, and I'm done, I want to walk away. Willpower is the skill that helps you say, but you know what? It comes back to values. I value my employees and I want to give them valuable information, and I want to do a good job at this. So how do I sit here and finish this work, even though it's difficult, even though the urge is to run because I don't want to say these things to these employees? How do I sit here and stay there? That's willpower. So I lost my train of thought, but anyhow, it's seeing how those are all linked, and that's the important piece. Any other questions? Ask me questions. I'm hoping that I'm not missing any, because I know that sometimes, okay, just a sec. I'm going to try this, and hopefully I don't lose you all. If you have questions, ask them, because again, I want to make sure that you are getting all of the information. So here's while I'm doing this, here's the website. If you go to silverrivercoaching.com/the training library is where you'll find all of this information, and you can register today. Here's the one last thing that I forgot to say earlier. So it's $19.97 a month. Those of you that register before the end of 2018 will have your rate set for life. If I ever decide to increase the monthly rate, yours won't be. So that's the bonus of jumping in now before year end, is your rate, $19.97 a month, will last for the rest of your life as long as I do the training library. So it's important, if this is something that you're at all interested in, that you jump in now. And so the links are all on that page, silverrivercoaching.com/the training room, or sorry, the training library. And you'll find all of the information you need to get in. Some of your questions will be answered. If you have more questions, you always know where to find me. Ask me questions and I will help you make sense of this. But again, this is helping you take control of your personal and professional development. No more waiting for anybody to approve it. No more waiting for somebody else to give you the little nudge. No more trying to figure out when the best time is. These are manageable courses, like I say, under 5 hours for sure, that are reasonably priced. I mean, 20 bucks a month, that's like Netflix or your music subscription. That's it. That's all you're paying to get ongoing training relevant to you, relevant to women who are running Canada's nonprofits, relevant to women who are in these small businesses trying to sort of sort life out. And it's you taking responsibility for both your life, your personal life, the way you want to be, and your career, and finding out how you fit them together and continue to grow and evolve and develop into that leader you can be. That's what the training library is all about. I hope that you will join me. Again, $19.97 a month. Get it in now before the end of the month, and your rate's going to be locked in for the rest of your life. And you'll continue to get access to this. I promise you that I will continue every month to show up and give you valuable, relevant information that's doable for you. I'll be responsive to your needs. I'll be asking you guys what you want, how you want it. And, you know, the training library will evolve based on your feedback. I want to know, is this long enough, short enough? Is this the type of content you want? What else is missing? What other experts can I bring in? What sort of time frames are we looking at? It's important that this is workable for you, because I want to see you grow and develop. And I want to see you grow and develop in a way that you are comfortable with, that feels authentic to you, and develops you into that person you want to be. There is no point in taking all of this training that's pushing you into this mold that doesn't feel right. There's no point in learning to lead somebody else's way. You need to learn to lead your way. And that way is very different than everybody else on this call today, everybody else in your organization, because we're all unique. We all have different sets of traits and gifts and talents and skills. We all bring a different mixture to the table. That's not wrong. That's beautiful. And when you can own that and accept that and accentuate that, that's when you're going to show up as that powerful, impactful leader who is also balanced in her life and living the life she wants to live. That's what's incredibly important here, is that you find your way and that your way feels good for you. Any other questions, pop them in below. If this is something you're ready to sign up for right away, give me a thumbs up. Again, the link is silverrivercoaching.com/the-training-library. And it's there for you now. Sign up now, get your rate locked in before the end of the month, start the values verification course right away, watch one of the other webinars that's already there. It's there for you. It's there for you to access so you can grow and develop yourself and become that powerful woman leader that you know you can be, but that you've been holding back because you've been waiting for somebody to give you that little nudge. Don't wait any longer. No more holding up, no more putting yourself on the back burner. Step forward, start to develop yourself today. Take responsibility for both your personal and professional life, and do it now. Because that's, my dear, what's going to move you from surviving to thriving in both your leadership and life. Go make the rest of your day awesome, and I will see you in the training library.